Hello, everyone. To those few of you who are new to the channel, welcome in. For all those who stayed through the hiatus, thank you. I greatly appreciate it. It took a very long time, even after coming back, longer than I intended, but here is my video of explanation and where the channel is going from now. For context, when I started my channel, I was studying for my bachelor's, and I wanted to start learning how to create content, which was a passion of mine on the side. I figured YouTube was free. I could start as a no-name channel, and I could just post stuff and kind of see what I thought of it as I put it out, just for practice. My first few videos were, as expected, quite terrible. Even the videos I've left up, which are not my first ones, believe it or not, are still, in my opinion, pretty terrible. But I didn't feel like they were worth taking down at this point. I felt like it fit a minimum, at least. I had reached out at the time to Aggro Squirrel in the hopes of being able to get my story to more ears so that I could get better feedback, because my writing was the only thing on my channel that I had any degree of confidence in. Due to a fortuitous and unfortuitous misunderstanding, Aggro Squirrel was kind enough, and I'm still very, very, very much grateful for this. Do not misinterpret this. All this growth in my mind is still because of Aggro Squirrel, largely. Put one of my videos on their channel, which is how most of you came to know me. At the time, I really didn't feel like my work was up to par, particularly in content creation. But I was getting a ton of positive feedback from all of you amazing people. And I was in between semesters. So I pushed myself as hard as I could to make better videos, better content, start getting overlays, start finding a better microphone, get a better feel for the voices of my characters, improve my narration, all of that. And I do feel, as you started to see through the videos, that it improved. But I really wound up burning the candle at both ends. I was not familiar with the content creation world. And seeing hundreds of people flood in to my work, which I did not particularly hold in high regard, motivated me to go past my comfort zone to my detriment. And I felt a pressure to capitalize so that the growth and generosity of this exposure didn't go to waste. Unfortunately, what that wound up doing was burn me out and make me almost hate the content creation process itself. Trying to push out chapters every couple of weeks, particularly once classes started up again, made me feel like I was cutting corners in my writing. I never published anything that I didn't feel at least hit a threshold of quality. I never narrated anything. But I wasn't thinking ahead for the story as much as I normally do. Particularly at the time, I was still learning my writing style. So, the further Tales of the Ambassador got, the more I actually grew to hate the story. Hate maybe be a strong word. I felt the story wasn't living up to what it could have been, to what it should have been. And I just burnt out completely. I put aside my content creation. I focused on my studies. I moved over to Twitch. And for a long time, I kind of moved on from YouTube because it had left a sour taste. Not your support. Let me be clear. Your support was the best part of YouTube for me. And it is why I am back. You all have been absolutely amazing. But I do not have the creative stamina to make content full-time like a lot of content creators. I'm much more of a STEM student. I'm much better with numbers and analytics. And while I love making content, I can only usually do it for at most a few hours at a time. I've been pushing my comfort zones on Twitch to do an hour a day, 6 days a week. And that still is somewhat draining for me. Unfortunately, because I love content creation. I really do. But that is basically what happened. I tried to grow the channel to actually give something worth the amount of attention it was getting. I didn't know what I was doing, and I soured the whole experience for myself. During the interim, however, I was still making content on Twitch. And during that time, I grew as a content creator. I refined my process. I learned how to better network, as in with better communicating my intention. And I found my balance on what I wanted to create and how much time I wanted to put into it. In the beginning, I had an illusion that I could do it full time, or even part time in the sense of like 15 hours a week. That's not my threshold at the moment. I am not at the point where content creation can be a job for me, simply put. And I have largely found my balance. But before I left and moved into Twitch, I had made myself a kind of unspoken promise. And that was, if, despite the fact that I left and was clear that it was an indefinite hiatus, I had no idea when I would be back, if the channel grew to be over 1,000 subscribers, I would find a way to come back to the story and give it a full, solid effort to finish it. And you all definitely did. Despite having been gone for a very long time, we now stand at over 1,100 subscribers. I am still shocked. Every day I look at it, I am shocked that so many of you people elected to subscribe on that early work that was out there. But I'm back. I am going to try my damnedest to finish Tales of the Ambassador and make it a proper story that I can be proud of. My hope is that you will enjoy it, but at the end of the day, my style of content creation is for me. I have to make it to my standards or I will not be able to complete it. I can only make content for myself in that sense, but I want it to be something all of you can enjoy thoroughly, and I want to make it the quality that is deserving of your enjoyment. So, going forward, I will put up a poll at some point, particularly after reading the comments on this post, as a litmus test. To see how the community feels. But at present, I post my VOD recordings from Twitch every day that I write. And the intention of that is to provide an update, to let you know that there is still progress going on in the story. Largely speaking, every VOD is an hour. I'm not expecting them to get views. I think VODs personally are very dry. They have none of the charm of a live recording. That's Twitch's medium, and they are long and boring. But I want them to be there so you guys can see the progress being made. And to an extent, I kind of want them to be there to show how long each chapter takes me. Many, many, many of you were super understanding back when I was writing chapters, and I cannot put to words how grateful I am. But even those small chapters, for me, take a ton of time. I believe I've now put out Tales of the Ambassador VOD number 17, which means I have not finished the first part, by the way. I am on the third refining draft of the first part that'll be published out. After doing a rough draft for, I believe, 3 parts, and a second draft for 2, and I am on the third draft through the first part. But all of that combined has been 17 hours of writing. It's not a light process. I'm not at the narrating stage yet. That's just getting the writing done. I'm not a super fast, author, practice writer, so it takes me a while. So I make no promises on when a video gets out. A chapter will be done when a chapter is done. And I'm sorry. Trust me, as a reader, I get that impatience. But that's just how it is. As it stands, since I know my channel is mostly just going to be VOD updates for you guys getting notifications, I am going to make an attempt so that actual narrations have a different background. At present, it could be this background I am using right now, or in the long term, it will likely be a different layout that I will find as I can. Probably a kind of fireplace sitting, reading background, something that really gives an atmosphere. This background is not bad, but I want something that's really nice for the narration. I'm also planning on potentially putting in backgrounds to fit each scene, but I can't make promises on that. I don't know how long that'll take. I don't know how much is going to expand the production process. So that'll probably be something that'll be an experiment with a part at one point, where I would have different scenes and backgrounds based off of the characters and images to add a sense of actual environment to the narrations. And as the final point I wanted to go over, if you want to ask channel or story questions, I do my best to read each and every comment. And if you really want a drawn-out conversation on it live, I do stream, or I do my best to stream, Sunday through Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for an hour on Twitch from the time of 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My Twitch handle should be in the description of this video, and I'd love to have you all over there. As you do see in the VODs, I generally put chatting before writing because I just love talking to you guys so that I can actually get feedback, hear your input, and get to know you guys. But yeah, that's kind of the update. Life happened. I had to do a lot of stuff. I was doing job searches in the interim, and I did my best to stay in the content creation game. But largely, I make my content on Twitch, and I am going to be putting my videos here as they are completed. Thank you all so much for everything, for all of your interest, for all the comments, for all the support. Thank you. Seriously. You all have an amazing day, and stay awesome. If you feel like it, give it a like, give it a comment. If you do enjoy the channel, subscribe. But I don't care about the growth here. I just want to make good content for each and every one of you guys. Again, stay awesome.